Alabama in that portal right now, dealing with some ups and some downs. We're going to talk about all that right here on the Bama Tailgate Show. We got Cruz. You got Mick. We're brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. The Azaleas, the Oaks, two amazing golf courses at Dancing Rabbit. I know you're thinking about golf right now this time of year. All right, well, let's get this thing started. Cruz is going to tell you guys why not to panic. At least I hope, because I'm one of the people panicking. All right, there he is, fresh back from the Jacksonville Buffalo playoff game and also the flu. Mr. Cruz Oxenrider, I'm Mick Gillespie. Cruz, the people want to know why we shouldn't worry about what's going on. We thought we had Hollywood last time we talked, not Ryan Williams, but Hollywood Smothers or whatever his name was, and then he ends up going to he committed to us and then went to Texas. And it's happened over and over again. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, it kind of sounds like that there was a little bit of a double meaning, like a very backwoods kind of deal. So he basically had told, University of Alabama and that he had, enrolled in classes. He was basically Bama locked, and he took a trip to Texas without really telling anybody, and he commits to them. And it was kind of low down and shady, something you would see from someone who went to Tennessee, low down and dirty. So it definitely was not expected. We thought it was a done deal. I was not a big fan of the move. Apparently he had done something earlier where he had, we were in the running for him in college, and he, flipped the hat off and took us off. So it is what it is. We want guys who want to be here. Right now, we just got word that Daniel Hill is coming back today officially. AK Deer is going to be back. We're adding, big guys, running back wise and recruiting. So, that was kind of a loss, but at the end of the day, we have some really talented guys coming back. Now the Cam Coleman thing, that was brutal. I can't even, try to defend that one. Cam Coleman is a top receiver in college football. He's from the state of Alabama. He was in Tuscaloosa for his last visit. I just believe we lost the dollar sign battle. I think Texas has a lot of NIL money to play with, and it just seemed like that was the more appealing situation for him to play with Arch Manning. Right. And to go work with a guy like C. Sarkisian, who's going to scheme for him to get open. Right. So that one was a brutal one. That one, I believe it just came down to situation was best. I think Texas is going to pay him a little more money than we would. It looked like we would get him or a good shot at getting him because we had Nix, his old wide receiver coach Auburn, that he had a really good relationship with. But at the end of the day, though, we want guys who want to be here at Alabama. So we picked up a few guys from Michigan in the portal at the offensive line. Ty Hayward, who was committed to us originally, is now making his way back. We pick up their center. We add a massive playmaker threat from NC State. So we end up landing a big NC State guy. And if you take
Noah Rogers, you talking about Noah Rogers?
Yeah. And he's a big bodied receiver.
Haywood's back. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. And he kind of replaces, Bernard or Horton in that role to pair with Hollywood. And if you look at it too, I don't think we're officially done. We brought Rico Scott back. We have Brooks back, Hollywood's back. We added Morgan and Morgan in recruiting. So that was big. And then the big returns from defense as well. Right. Bray Hubbard's back, Saab's back, Pierre's back, Dijon Lee's back, Xavier Brown's back. So, we returned a lot of who's it? Red Morgan. Now Drake Kirkpatrick Jr. back, and so we're bringing a lot of these guys back. Mincy's back, so that was a massive fit. So do we whiff on some guys in the transfer portal that we originally wanted? Yeah, sure. But at the end of the day, though, we're doing it strategically. We're adding guys to these rosters, knowing that some of these guys are going to come back. There's a reason why guys like Russaw and Keon Keeley left. because of Pierre coming back. The Pierre was not going to lose that spot. He was one of the best spots on the defense at the end of last year. Bray Hubbard was I think our best player on defense last year. You could say that he was one of the best players on the team last year. So him coming back was a major boost to this, coming into the roster next year. And then of course the whole situation with Ty. I mean, Ty is now going to go down as an Alabama favorite for not, going to another school, taking the bag. And I think that's incredibly
a lot of money
important.
not to take, man.
It is.
Miami is seriously giving him $6.5 million. I mean, good God.
Yeah.
You gotta take that, right?
Well, no, I mean, that's a thing. If he's a first-round quarterback, and now with the news of Dante Moore returning to school, there is no QB, solid QB2 anymore. So It looks like Ty has a very, very good chance of going in the first round of the NFL draft now. It looks like he has. It looks like Fernando Mendoza is going to go number 1 to Vegas, barring a crazy trade. But it looks like, teams like the Jets, unfortunately, are going to be calling calling about Ty Simpson. Just because and he's going to make NFL quarterback money. Mean, $6 million sounds like a lot in college. But he has a chance to make, $40-30 million at the next level. And he's already getting that, that head start. So I think it's a better situation for him. I think it has an opportunity to also give guys like Austin Mack and Keelan Russell some breathing room and knowing that.
And then all of a sudden now we look at the quarterback situation and we're like, what's Alabama's quarterback spot going to look like with is it going to be Austin Mack or Keelan Russell? I mean, I think that's a fair question. Before we get to that, though, I want to tell you guys about Pearl River Resort.
So, Jake, let's break down some game tape.
Hold on, fellas. Steve.
Hey, Jake. You ready to rock?
Let's roll, brother.
Guess we're calling plays at Pearl River Resort. Wow, Jake's first throw scores. And Steve's got the crowd pumped. Man, they're absolutely rolling.
'Cause I don't have to be me till Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I ain't gonna face reality.
I tell you, Jake still got game. While Steve keeps rocking aces. Boom, Jake seals it with a pick.
Come call your own plays
At Pearl River Resort. Let's roll.
I don't have to be me till Monday.
If that's not the feel-good commercial of the year, right?
It is.
Anyway.
Hopefully I'm special enough to be in it next year. I'm hoping.
Yeah, we got to get you in there, man. So tell me what you think about the quarterback situation. Ty's leaving. Do you go with the young super talent or the guy that's been around for 5 years waiting his turn?
I think right now I want to go with the guy who wins the locker room. I think that's what I really want to go with. I think both players have incredible upside. I think Austin Mack has a rocket launcher for an arm. He's definitely a big-bodied quarterback who can be able to run a little bit if needed to. He's been in DeBoer and Grubb's system for years now, so he knows it a lot better. And then you look at the other side with Keelan Russell. I mean, he's just got that next level type of ability with accuracy and just putting the ball exactly where it needs to be. He stayed for a reason. He says he wants to be a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback for the University of Alabama, and I believe him when he says that. So it really is. I think it's going to be who pulls away with it in spring, and I think this quarterback battle is going to go all the way into summer ball. I don't think this is going to be like who there isn't going to be just they won in the spring. No, I think this is going to come all the way down to leading up to East Carolina in Bryant-Denny Stadium starting in the 2026 season. So I'm excited to see it. Like I said, I think these two quarterbacks fit DeBoer and Grubb's system a lot better than what we've had the last couple of years. No disrespect to Ty or Jalen, but those were, they were not recruited for this role or for this scheme. These are DeBoer's guys. So there is no, these are the guys they were handpicked to come and be the quarterback of the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different thing now, and we'll see what happens. I mean, the transfer portal thing worries me a little bit just because of the of the perception of, hey, we had this guy and he jumps off, and then this guy was here. We thought we were going to get him. We didn't. But then at the same time, I look at Indiana and I'm like, if you do solid evaluations, you don't have to get some young guy. Go and get the guy that's been around a little bit, knows how to play the game. They're going to win a national championship based on guys with experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly a winning formula. I think a lot of teams are going to start to copy and imitate this to the best of their ability. However, though, we have to remember that these super senior COVID years they're done. I mean, these 23, 24-year-olds playing in college football are done now. So I don't see this being a repeat of it. Now, no disrespect to Indiana, what they've done. They built a fantastic roster who is, basically a junior NFL team right now, age-wise. But I think that's going to change a little bit. Now, Indiana is now crushing it in the transfer portal again. They're getting big names out of there. Mark Cuban now donating to the NIL, so that's just another one up there. So they're probably gonna try and tack it another way. The day of seeing the super senior led team now with 22, 23-year-olds leading your college football offense, I think those days are done after this year. I think they made a point of emphasis, especially with a Trinidad, not being able to come back for a 6th year. So I think we're moving out of that direction. But I do like the idea of adding juniors and seniors and guys with playing experience at smaller schools. Like right now, we're looking at Southern Miss's linebacker who has a ton of experience. We added guys, from Michigan. We've added guys from NC State. So we're even some smaller D2 schools. Hell, we just added a punter from North Alabama who has a leg that we have not had in a while. North Texas's kicker that we just added. So there are some other ways to get around the age discrepancy. However, Alabama next year, we return a ton of experience at defense. I know it looks like we lost a lot, but if you look at what we have coming back and guys who play valuable minutes, that's going to go a long way. Offensively, though, it's going to be the biggest question mark we see all year. But if these are the guys that DeBoer and Grubb are handpicking to lead their offensive scheme for the first time, we're just going to have to trust them.
Yeah, right. So your overall feel of things right now. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that are worried. I mean, what do you think? The additions that we have added the last couple of days has definitely eased my mind a little bit. The two guys that we missed on in Hollywood and Cam, I mean, there's no getting around. Those were big losses, talent-wise, guys who immediately came in and made a major impact. However, though, like I said, there are some other things to look at. We added guys with value. So did we get a Cam Coleman? No. Can we get a few guys that can replicate what Cam Coleman could possibly come reduce? Maybe. Guys with and also, too, our running game last year was so horrendous. So how do we even know Hollywood would have made it any better? We have guys that kind of fit his profile already in A.K. Deere and Crowell. I mean, they're kind of the same little scat backs. I mean, he looked good at NC State. There's no denying it. But right now, until I see any improvement from the offensive line, running backs don't really excite me anymore. I'd rather go get some guys in the trenches, which we have, and then look what we have. Because I think Daniel Hill can be a monster for us next year, and pair him with guys like Kevin Riley, with A.K. Deere, with Isaiah. So that's what I really want to improve. I'd rather go spend $2 million on offensive linemen right now than $2 million on a running back, just to average another 1.2 yards carry. Yeah. Hey, look, I think they've got to revamp that totally. Look at Alabama's coaching staff. Derek Nix got him from Auburn when Jamarcus Shepard left to be Oregon State head coach. Brian Ellis, been OG in the coaching world, right? Moves from tight ends to quarterbacks coach. Nick Sheridan left to become the offensive coordinator at Michigan. You got it's just the moves on offense. Do you think that, those moves are significant? I think a lot of people that are watching were pretty excited about having Derek Nix come.
Yeah, I think Russell Shepard, for what he did, I mean, he was a big energy guy, big intensity guy. But the results just didn't match up on the field this year. I mean, Ryan had, drop problems other than Bernard. I mean, Horton came on late, but that was towards the end of the season. Bernard was really the only consistent guy we got. Rico Scott really didn't make his way into the rotation. Brooks was making big plays as a freshman, stepping up. We didn't really see a lot from Cole Adams. We didn't see a lot from a few other guys. And it was kind of disappointing. It was. I look at, this guy being able to get the most out of. We got guys like Derek Meadows, a 6'5" receiver that we didn't really see a lot of. Rico Scott, who came in. Ryan's back again. So Ryan's going to have to come in and step up and make a massive impact this year as a junior. He's no longer the 17, 18-year-old. He's going into his junior year, possibly his last year at Alabama. So he's going to have to come in and take a leadership role. So that's a big one as well. As far as the offensive additions go, I feel like right now, DeBoer is making moves that are more tailored towards his Washington offense. I feel like he's been trying to place, really trying to mix and match, pieces that haven't really gelled as well together. It looks like, it hasn't really felt like it's been synergy with the offense consistently. And it looks like maybe he's trying to fit the best pieces possible for his scheme. That would be my assumption. I think the moves that he's been making is very strategic. I will say this, that I am excited to see the energy Nick brings. I've heard nothing but good things about him. I've heard it's an addition, I would say an upgrade than Russell. I feel like last year there were some reports of, butting heads with some of the receivers, personality wise. So, maybe a fresh new outlook and scheme and approach by a very valuable and experienced wide receiver coach could come in and make a massive impact. Because, this is not Ty. Ty is not a guy who's been here for 5 years. This is a guy who's coming in, starting his first year as well at QB as well. So we're going to have to see how this goes. I will say I'm very excited to see, is this going to be DeBoer 2023 Washington level offense? Yeah,
right. Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Michael Penix, Rome Odunze, Chris Polk, attack where we're just airing it out. And then, we're gashing them up the middle, when we're doing four wide spreads and, the defense is, hands on their knees, gasping for air, not knowing what's coming next. That's what I want to see. That's what we've been waiting to see from this DeBoer offense and all we've heard about. So is this finally it? And I can't wait to see it. I think spring ball is going to be very telling. Obviously, we're not going to see anything during A-Day because now A-Day is nothing more than a glorified practice scrimmage. But
sad.
It is. I used to love A-Day. It's nothing like that anymore.
No. All right, last thing. Let's talk a little hoops. I know some of you guys aren't big hoop guys. I'm this hoop season, give us something to watch. This team, they're a top 25 team, dealt with some injuries, came back strong. Nice comeback against Mississippi State. Your thoughts on Nate Oates' gang? And let me ask you before I get there, use the promo code Bama Tailgate and you'll get 20% off your next New Life Art print. The Mark Sears print, I've got that one. They're framing that for me. It's going right next to Antoine Petway. Those are two of my favorite Daniel Moores. I don't even have that one yet. I mean, I guess I could go pick it up now, but it's because it's ready. You guys can get one as well. Maybe you want the crispy screen. Maybe you want some of those classics, prints that Alabama has and some of their big wins. Check them out, though. NewLifeArt.com. Use our promo code. All right, give me your rundown on the basketball team.
Yeah, I think right now we just got done with a murderous row of non-conference games. I mean, we played the toughest non-conference schedule in America again. And I felt like we did a pretty good job. This is a completely new team. There's no more, Mark Sears, Grant Nelson. A lot of those guys that we lost, from the Final Four team and last year are gone. But I love the fact that Phylon, I love Aiden Holloway. I think, Mallet now, we're adding some very key pieces. I feel like we run a very deep rotation.
Right.
I love what I'm seeing scoring the ball. I love the fact that we've bounced back again from a loss from Texas that didn't really sit well with a lot of people. We definitely didn't play our best game. Hell, if we would have played half as good as we played last night, we beat Texas by 10. But I like what I'm seeing so far. I think this SEC right now is wide open for the taking. There's not other than Vanderbilt, who's been the shock of college basketball so far. there hasn't really been a dominant team in the SEC. I think, Kentucky is right now a hot mess. Florida, are they starting to come on their own? Georgia,
Right.
Tennessee, anyone could really get Guy. So big weekend coming up in Norman. I like Bama to take care of business again. I think this team has the talent to win an SEC championship game and make a run in March, because the guys that have been stepping up in Aiden and Phylon, I mean, they're walking buckets. And you get guys like that, when they're on, they're on. I don't think there's any team in America that can stop that kind of duo. But right now, a lot of our guys are young. They're getting their feet wet. I think conference play will be a little bit more easier for them than it was in the Murderers Row of playing Illinois, Gonzaga, Arizona, all those teams. So I like this team so far. I think Nate's doing a great job. It's definitely a different look than what we've been used to the last couple of years with Sears and Grant. But I like what I'm seeing so far.
Cruz, always great hanging with you. I want to remind you guys this, too. Hit that QR code right there, AveD. That's Mick Nation. That's your opportunity to hang out with us, Web3 Home, whether it be our swag, whether it be your opportunity to put bets down on games. We give you free money. It's all free. And I know with football kind of coming to an end, you get one more football game, take Indiana to destroy Miami. I think we can all agree on that. The other thing, and I want to say this right here, and B. Dratty, thank you guys at B. Dratty for hooking us up. Summit Brands, Bama Tailgate 30, get 30% off. It's a little chilly out right now, but not when you're wearing this. Got the quilted look to it, the kind of the low profile A. I always love the black with the red, the crimson A, right?
It looks good.
Yeah, it looks pretty sweet. If you get cold, you just pop this over there. But they got great stuff. Coker, he should go back and watch the show with Coker on here. He was so happy about everything. All the free stuff he got. And we got to get you hooked up, Cruz. And you guys take advantage of that. Yeah, I mean, why not? Right? That's what the channel's all about. But thank you, guys. We're brought to you again by Pearl River Resort, and we will talk to you again probably tomorrow. Look, I'm ramping back up again. I had to take a time out, but not forever, just a couple days.
We're
Roll Tide, everybody. Thanks, Cruz.
So, Jake, let's break down some game tape.
Hold on, fellas. Steve,
Hey, Jake, you ready to rock?
let's roll, brother.
Guess we're calling plays at Pearl River Resort. Wow, Jake's first throw scores. And Steve's got the crowd pumped. Man, they're absolutely rolling.
'Cause I don't have to be me till Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I ain't gonna face reality.
I tell you, Jake's still got game. While Steve keeps rocking aces. Boom, Jake seals it with a pick.
Come call your own plays.
At Pearl River Resort, let's roll.
I don't have to be me till Monday,